I say it sounds so silly. It's like, guy, use your head. Which side is my good side? Actually, you know what? It doesn't matter because you guys have been seeing me raw on camera since I was still. When did I start this channel? I was 20. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Do you know, I forgot how much I enjoyed making content, how much it actually brought me so much joy and happiness, like figuring out. Anyways, let's not get into that. So in the spirit of coming back and being more serious, because this is 2024, 2020, no grief for anybody. I was looking at my old videos and I was trying to figure out like what worked and maybe what didn't, or what I liked versus what I didn't like. And I wanted to do a transition from the old chapters of my life and the old everything that's happened before and kind of slowly transition to a new chapter. So a video that did very well was the video I did talking about my degree, how I got it, how my experience was at the University of Hull, studying to get a degree in chemical engineering, which by the way, I will have you know is one of the top most difficult courses in the world. That's how you know I got a brain on me. I feel so bad saying this because a lot of you actually, no, I don't feel bad because that video helped so many of you to figure out if chemical engineering was for you. It helped so many of you to figure out how going to the University of Hull to study that would be like for you. A couple of you still messaged me afterwards on Instagram or wherever else you could find me. I had some on LinkedIn as well, and I thought I'd just make a video, like an update video, to let you guys know what I've been doing since with that degree. Whilst I do my makeup, I'm laughing because I don't actually use my degree. I didn't use it. From when I got it, I didn't use it. I'm brushing my eyebrows with a brow gel and I can't say the name because they got cancelled online. Literally, I kid you not, the day after I bought from them. When you can't go to waste, man. So I only use brow gels on my brows. If I'm feeling spicy, I'll like fill in the end of my brows. But that's pretty much it. I don't conceal, I don't do anything else. But yeah, let me set the scene for you guys. So picture me after getting my undergraduate degree. So I was like, you know what, I'll just do a master's. And it sounds like a jump, but if you already have parents, like Nigerian parents, that really believe in master's degrees, it wasn't hard. And also my the university was offering like a scholarship. If you continued on with them, they would take, I think it was £3,000 off of the tuition. So I was like, you know what, I enjoy chemical engineering. It's something like I seem to be good at. I would have a master's degree to increase my chances of getting a job after university, right? Yeah. So I started the master's degree September of 2020. It was a year-long program, so it was supposed to end the following September, which was 2021. So basically I was in a position where I knew that I would have to leave my accommodation and most likely Hall as well while still studying for my master's degree. And I realized I couldn't actually wait until the end of my program to start applying for jobs. So pretty much as soon as I started my master's degree, I started applying for jobs. Even my younger sister, I gave her the same advice when she was looking for a job for her placement year. I told her, just start as soon as possible. I'm priming now. I normally like to use e.l.f., but as you can see, I'm almost out. So today I'm going to be using the Fenty Beauty Pro Matte, what's it called? Pro Filter Mattifying Primer in True Matte, which is the most matte primer that they have. So when I was doing my master's degree, I fell even more out of love with chemical engineering, and the biggest reason was because I had basically been put on a slightly different program by mistake by the staff department. I don't know who's in charge of these things, I don't remember. So I had been working on a different timeline to the program I was actually supposed to be on. So when we found out what was going on, I then had to start adjusting my work, my assignments, my lab reports. I had to start adjusting them for new deadlines. I even missed 1 or 2 deadlines because of this error. And I'm very organized, especially when it came to my academics. I was extremely organized. Like when it was time for me to study, I would study. Look at everything I was saying in that video. I was very disciplined. Once I got myself into like a nice groove, that's it, like I'm set. So that really threw me off. It felt like, I don't know, it was just like a really big change. It was a really big adjustment for me. So I started struggling to, I still wouldn't say I was struggling. I was meeting my new deadlines, but I was struggling now to keep that passion. I just felt like, now that I think about it, what's the point? What am I going to do after uni? Work on the plans, wear PPE. I don't want that. I don't want this anymore. I was doing my lab reports and I just suddenly was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then I got scared. I got scared because now my plan was pretty much messed up. The plan was always to start applying for, obviously, chemical engineering jobs. And I quickly realized I had to change course. So I started to apply for anything that was STEM related. Luckily for me, at that time, there were quite a few options when it came to jobs that were looking for people with STEM disciplines, which obviously I had. So I was just applying to pretty much any and everything that had that requirement, STEM. And also I was under a lot of pressure because my parents had told me like to come back for NYSC, and I really didn't want to do that. I'm so sorry, like all these serve your country, like it doesn't appeal to me. I can't think of a scenario where I'll ever end up in office in politics. Like I can barely keep myself together, much less an entire country. It's just not me. Like it really isn't just me. I was even telling my dad over Christmas, I was like, unless there's like a minister of fashion looks or beauty, like what am I doing? He didn't find that funny, by the way. So I just started applying to any and everything, and that is how I joined the company that I was with for the next 2 years after that. First layer of concealer is the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Concealer, and contouring with, I don't know if they say NYX or NYX, but yeah, the Can't Stop Won't Stop concealer. So I had applied for a job that said accepting all STEM disciplines, obviously including chemical engineering. I think they even specifically put engineering in the job description or in the requirements that they were looking for. So I applied, interviewed, spoke to a recruiter a few times, and I got in. So fast forward to a couple weeks into my training. So backstory about the company, they're the sort of company that takes loads of beginners or people that know next to nothing or even nothing about tech, and they train you up. The stream that I had applied to was a software testing stream. They teach you something different each week for about 14 weeks, and you take a test for each of these topics on every Friday. I struggled. Oh my god, I struggled so bad. Like, mind you, I had just come from getting a first class degree, right? Like in my head I'm like, I'm so smart. Like a first class degree at the age of 20, like there's literally nothing I can't do, there's nothing I can't learn, there's nothing I can't take in. That was the dumbest I've ever felt in my life. There was one night I was panicking. I was damn near having an anxiety attack. So this was like 1 a.m. I woke my parents out of sleep. I said, I can't do this, guys. I can't do this. Just bring me home. I can't do this. But then they were trying to like, they talked me down, and they were explaining to me like nothing is ever really easy, and you need to have that spirit of like pushing through even when things aren't easy. Like if I genuinely think that I can't do it, I can quit. But if it's just because of how hard it is, because it's something I've never done before, then that's not good enough reason to quit. So I stuck it out, and I struggled the whole way through the training, mind you. I wish I could have had a better ending, but I did struggle. Anyways, I made it through the training, and then I got placed with HSBC for my first placement. Before you start a placement, they'll tell you how long you're going to spend at each company that you get placed with. So it varies, right? So some of the people I trained with, they're probably even still, this is 2 years later, mind you, so they're probably even still at the place that they got originally placed at. Whereas I think that also didn't help me to build my confidence. That also didn't help me to feel more stable and settled, because I went from one very short stint at HSBC to being placed at Buzz Bingo, both manual testing roles. I did learn a lot though. So I learned to adapt to different environments. I learned to come out of my shell more. I even started writing on Medium about my experiences in case it could help anyone. And I'll be very honest, because I don't know if people talk about this. I thought about quitting many times, because at the end of the day, it's not like I couldn't do chemical engineering. I could do it, but I knew that I didn't want to. I've never in my life digested as many motivational quotes as I did during that period. One of my aunties said to me, "Do not despise the days of small beginnings." I looked it up. I think it's in, was it Zechariah? Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices in them. I think that's how it goes. But it really, really helped me because I realized I was so used to doing things so easily. Because again, whilst chemical engineering challenged me, I could still do it. Like, it wasn't that, like, I would go home over Christmas, party, party, party. I would barely even revise, come back for exams and still kill it. I wouldn't be stressed. Like, my customers would be saying to me, like, there's no way you're not stressed. And I'm just like, I got it. Like, I also met one of my mom's business partners who said to me that something people don't glamorize anymore right now, especially because we see a lot of people's highlight reels as opposed to like all the work they're putting in behind the scenes, which is fine. But he was saying it makes you forget that sometimes you do need to get through that struggle before things can become all nice and sweet. And he thinks I just need to remember that. And that at the end of the day, those first few years or first couple of years after you graduate is for laying that foundation. That's when struggle all the struggle you want to struggle, there's no shame in it. Those are some of the things that really, really stuck with me and helped me to change my perspective and finally pull myself up. I got myself together. I got myself together to the point that after I did my second placement at Buzz Bingo, which was again also manual testing, so ISTQB stuff, all of that, I went back to my company and I said to them, I want my next role to be an automation role. I want to learn more. There's much more I could do. Because I thought to myself, I'm going to do this, I might as well do it properly. I'm not just going to stay at what's easier, because at that point manual testing was slightly easier than automated testing. And I was like, I think I should keep pushing myself. I can't keep sticking to what's easier simply because that's what I know now. I need to continuously push myself so I can be, so 5 years from now at least I have everything in my skill set. I don't have to go back to the drawing board. So I pushed. That's when I got put with Sky for automation testing, specifically with JavaScript and Playwright. And boy, that did wonders in so many different ways. It did wonders in terms of finally learning how to communicate with people in the office, people online, people in teams, close-knit teams, even playing games with them afterwards, going for team bonding stuff, like going to the pub, getting drinks, like team dinners. Because again, this company I had joined was largely online, so I never really connected with my teammates. We did try to meet up a few times in London, but we did that by ourselves. And then when I got put with HSBC, it was online, all online, and Buzz Bingo as well was also fully remote, and mostly people that already had kids, married, settled down, so people I couldn't really relate to. When I joined Sky, it was like full of younger people, playful people, and my senior tester, Bobby, God bless you, he helped me so much. I learned so much. I still think I could have pushed myself more in that role, definitely. I was also still shaking off the last of like my imposter syndrome and just still fighting off those voices that were saying to me like, this isn't sustainable, I can't do this, this is too hard, it's taking me almost 2 years to like grasp something properly. I started speaking to more people at work and outside of work, and I realized I was just being way too hard on myself. I would ask my colleagues and I asked my senior tester like, oh, by the way, how long have you been doing this for? And he told me over 10 years, and even still he wasn't always immediately sure what to do. He wasn't just like, right, so we're going to do no, he would still sometimes have the same questions that I did, and it just made me see things so different. It was like, why the hell am I beating my... By the way, guys, since that day I have not beaten myself up once. So I guess that would be part of my advice if anyone wanted to switch, even if it's not chemical engineering to software engineering. If you wanted to switch from, you know, something you've always known to something that is like really brand new to you, I would say make sure you're in constant communication with people, point blank period. If you can go to the office, go to the office. I even saw a tweet about how as much as everyone wants to do remote working, when you're in the first couple years of your career, you really should be in the office. And I agree. I really, really agree, because in hindsight, that would have helped me so much more to get out of my own head. And also, you are not dumb, you're not slow, you're not stupid just because you can't grasp some programming skill that takes the average person years and years to learn. Even people 10 years into their careers will tell you that they're still learning, they still don't know everything, there's still many things that confuse them. So keep that in mind. Do I miss chemical engineering? Honestly, no. So every time tech would even get hard and I would just be like, oh, should I just say F it and go back? I would think to myself, I don't actually want that, so I'm going to keep going. And so I kept going, and now I'm a fairly confident mid-level automation software tester. And how long has it been since I first started? I started in the summer of 2021. It's not even up to 3 years. See the way I even told you guys I was beating myself up, and we literally just entered 2024, so really actually it's only been like 2.5 years. It also just taught me to get out of my head. I was always in my head. I still am sometimes, to be honest, but you have to get out of your head. You have to find a way to self-soothe, self-regulate. You have to find the things that ground you. For example, when I'm in my head, one thing that really helps me is showers. Unfailingly, showers or the gym. I'll talk to my sister or my best friend, people that know how I work as well as I know how I work, you know what I mean? So like talk me off that ledge. So yes, I just thought I'd let you guys know what I've been up to since that video. This looks a mess, but I'll clean it up in a sec. What I've been up to, if I've used my degree, if I haven't, what I've been doing instead. That is what I've been doing, and that is how I got into what I'm currently doing. I know I'm probably going to get this question, would I advise it as a viable next step for any engineers out there that maybe no longer want to do what they're currently doing? I think the pros are that it still requires all the analytical, problem solving, critical thinking skills that STEM disciplines require. So that part is fine. It just also, you have to think about how easy or not easy it is for you to pick up programming languages. I think one thing that also made it hard for me, and one thing that made it much more daunting than it actually was or should have been, is that I was learning different programming languages at the same time. Week after week after week, I would learn Java, I would learn Python, I would learn web development, so JavaScript, CSS, HTML, I learned SQL, Unix, I learned there's more than that, but I just can't remember off the top of my head. And imagine coming from not knowing anything about computers, about coding, about tech, literally only knowing chemical engineering, only knowing MATLAB. That's as far as your computer knowledge goes, and then being thrown into a world where now you're learning all these languages in the space of 14 weeks. The most appropriate thing I can say is that I was not loving life. Let me just say it that way. But I think that if I had learned it specifically for real world software testing applications, like let's say for example I had done it from a place of, right, I'm done with university now, I don't want to do chemical engineering but I want to do software testing. I do some research and I see that a lot of software testing happens with languages like JavaScript, TypeScript, some with Selenium, Cucumber, some even with Python. Maybe I would have been able to hone in on just those languages, and I would not have had to focus on things I didn't actually need at the time, and it would have made it much easier. But I will say a pro of going through this company was also that assurance of knowing that after your training you would end up working at one of the most well-known companies literally in the UK or even in the world actually, and that does wonders for your CV and your experience, of course. So it just depends on where you're at, the type of person you are. I guess how confident you are in your ability to get a job by yourself, if you're changing disciplines. There's so many different factors to it, but this was my experience. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. Some of you already know that if you DM me, if you send me a message outside, I will respond. And if I haven't responded, feel free to send me a message again or leave a comment under this video asking more specific questions, anything else you want to know. I'm here. I got y'all. Nobody else needs to struggle the way that I did. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm always available on different platforms to answer your questions. Bye.